Accessing our inner bliss. Bliss is not something that's available to us outside, something that we need to strive for. Bliss is available to us within us at all times. Accessing our inner bliss is not some esoteric concept. Instead, in this video, we are going to look at some very simple, practical ways to access that bliss that is always available to us. Hi, this is Nirmala Shekhar, and we are currently exploring our spiritual needs in a map of self-care. My first understanding of bliss came with these words of Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Bliss is not an experience. Bliss is the experiencer. Just ponder over those words. I did, and as I started reflecting on those layers of meaning in those simple words, I experienced waves of bliss and some insights as well. Firstly, anything that I experience is temporary. Anything that is part of me is available to me at all times. And when something is part of me, I do not need to do anything special to access it or to benefit from it. So, for example, this hand is part of my body. And I need to do nothing special to use this hand or access it. It's available to me whenever I need it. However, if I injure this hand or cover it in a bandage, then my access to this hand becomes limited. And when the hand is healed and I'm able to take the bandage out, it is available to me completely. So the question then is, if bliss is available to me, is with me, is part of me at all times, why do I feel miserable? And what can I do about it? You see the 5 stackable dolls. These dolls are the inspiration for a map of self-care. And for those of you who have been following this series from the beginning, you will realize that we are talking about the different aspects of ourselves which are there in the logo of a map of self-care. So we start first with our physical body, and we have not talked about these needs yet. This is our energy body. This is our emotional body, intellectual self, and our spiritual self. In the Vedas, ancient Sanskrit text, these aspects of ourselves are called as sheets or coverings, and this is the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. So some traditions refer to this as our spiritual body, but the Vedas talks about this as our bliss body. And when we look at it in that way, then it makes sense that we are, the bliss is our experiencer and not just an experience. So when we look at this as our spiritual body or the bliss body, this encloses all of these aspects of ourselves, one within the other, and everything in that enclosure is bliss. So if everything is bliss, why is it that I feel miserable and I'm not able to experience or feel the presence of that bliss? And the reason for that is all these filters that we have which prevent us from experiencing our inner bliss. So if I have a filter that prevents me from accessing my bliss, and then my intellectual self is within that, then I don't have access to my inner bliss. So all the videos that we talked about as parts of our spiritual needs, this is the 12th video, so 11 videos before this, Each one of those allows us to remove these filters and provide access to the true nature of ourselves, and that is bliss. And if you look at the intellectual needs that we talked about in the intellectual needs series, all those that we talked about there, some examples, reflection, silence, creativity, intuition, all of those are things that we can work on and remove the filters from within the intellectual self that are preventing us from accessing the bliss that is coming in from this spiritual self. So we go on this way to each of our bodies, and each of our needs in the map of self-care is talking about what we can do to remove the filters within that particular aspect of ourselves so that we can access our inner bliss. And when we come to the smallest, which is the physical self, physical body, we will be talking about the needs of the physical body. After we complete this video and a recap, we will start the series on the physical body. And in that, we are going to be looking at how can we use the physical body to access all of the other needs and all of the inner bliss that is within us. So stay tuned for the next series as well, as we talk about different ways in which we can access our inner bliss. Thank you for joining me, and let me know what your insights are. This is Nirmala Shekhar signing off. Bye-bye. Namaste. Do subscribe and hit the bell button for more weekly content on self-care. And if you want even more actionable content on self-care, do join me in the Facebook group for weekly lives, discussions, and more tips.